Hi, my name's Allie Bingert. I want to share my story of Heroes of Geriatric Care. When I first started, I've been working in dementia care as a dementia care programmer since 2005. Like many of my colleagues, I came to the field by accident. I was in school to be a biology high school teacher, and my grandmother was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and I became her full-time caregiver, not returning to school until I was 37. When I started working as an activity professional, I quickly found my passion and my heart for folks with dementia and was quickly moved up to dementia care programmer. So I've been doing that since 2005 and just recently moved to Virginia. And I started in this new facility 2 years ago, and I wanted to share a story of when I first came. Whenever we do tours with prospective family members, I share this story, and it just clearly defines why we need specialized dementia practitioners working with this very special population. So, my first day on the job, it's time to start an activity. And the CNAs who had been without a program director for 6 months and without activities for the residents for that long weren't really trained or able to join in or help me, but I asked them to help gather folks around in a circle. And we were going to work with this ball. This is a very good way, this light little ball is a very good way to get to know the skill levels of your residents, because we never focus on their disabilities, only on the abilities they have left. So I had, in this room of 20-some strange people I've never met before, we started grouping people together. And caregivers would say, well, that lady over there, she can't do it. And that gentleman over there, he'll make strange noises. And this person can't do it because they can't, move and they won't talk. I said, just bring them in the circle, and we'll include them, because passive engagement is better than none at all, and they need to feel a part of a community. So our folks got in a circle, and we had this one lady in a reclining wheelchair who was just making noises and staring at the ceiling, and she would just go, ah, and stare at the ceiling. And I thought, okay, that's a challenge, but not impossible. So I started in my circle and tried to make eye contact with the residents to see, kind of teasing with the ball, to see if any kind of spontaneous protection occurred, because I never want to throw a ball and have it hit their face and them just be sitting there. It's not very dignified. So I would get their eye contact, say, are you ready? It's coming to you. It's your turn. We're going to work on our muscles today. And I would begin to throw and act like I was going to throw. If their hands went up, I knew they were ready to engage, and I could throw the ball. Some residents were able to hit it back. Some had to catch it and take the pause, the extra time to work with the ball. They needed the extra time to react. And finally, I came to my lady in the reclining wheelchair. I needed to get her eye contact. She was focused and doing repetitive motion and also just looking off into the sky. So I put the ball in her hand and I started talking to her, called her by name. She still didn't look at me. So I thought, I'll sing. So I sang to her, and as I began to sing to her, her eyes came forward and looked at mine. Once I had her eye contact, I moved her hands around the ball, made her feel the ball, pushed it against her hands, let her feel it, talked to her, and moved on. So I moved on around the circle, getting to know the other residents and what their abilities were and what their challenges were. And I got around once more to my lady in the reclining chair. This time, all I had to do was sing, and her eyes came to me right away. Her hands are on the ball, and I'm doing the same thing, having her feel the ball, but this time, I slid my hands under the ball and pushed it up against her. She pushed back. I pushed it up against her. She pushed back. Back and forth we went, about 10 times. On I went around the circle. I came back the third time to my lady. I didn't need to sing anymore. By this time, she was engaged in watching the other residents manipulate the ball. So all I had to do was put her hands on it and push up against, and our volley game began. Pushing up, she pushed back. Pushing up, she pushed back. It was much more spontaneous. I came around a fourth time. This time, grabbing the fabric of the ball, I said, all right, it's your turn. Are you ready? Hands at the ready. I swung the ball back to see if when I brought it up and her hands went up in the air. Okay. I swung the ball back and up, and her hands hit the ball again. So I said, okay, we'll do this about 10 times. Great job. You're doing great. The arms are really moving. We're working the oxygen through our blood. This is fantastic. Great job. Around the circle I went again. This time, now we're up to the 5th time around. I get back to my lady and I said, all right, you are up. Again, she's already engaged. She's been watching everyone else and is now anticipating her turn. This is the woman who they said couldn't do it. This time, I said, are you ready? You are up. Hands at the ready. Again, the tease throw to see if she had spontaneous reaction, which she did. All right, let's try. Are you ready? I threw the ball, and she hit it back to me. And before I could say, great job, the entire circle of other residents began to cheer and clap for her. Yay, they said. And it moved me to tears. But I had focused so much on being set on getting her out of her shell from her withdrawn state and repetitive motion and looking up in the sky that I didn't realize how engaged all the other residents had been in her progress. And they were so excited for her. When we train our caregivers about Maslow's hierarchy of needs and we tell them to work them up the level of the tiers of needs from basic needs to security, to love and engagement in community, to self-esteem, to self-actualization so that they have the best me possible, I can't think of a better example of bringing a woman from her very lowest basic function withdrawn inside herself in one activity to the entire ring of residents clapping and cheering for her. There's nothing more inspiring than working with residents with dementia. They are accepting of each other. They accept all different levels of ability, unlike our higher functioning AL residents. There's just not a more rewarding line of work, and this won't happen unless we have very well-trained dementia practitioners. I want to train. I want to be doing this work for the rest of my life and as long as I'm able. But I believe without the proper training, we're not giving a fair quality of life to this very important and growing population. Thank you.